What a good job. Welcome back to the airport. Welcome back to the brand new video. And I am so excited. You know why? Because NBA season starts tomorrow. Bro, it felt like so long ago when we just got eliminated by the Celtics in the playoffs. And we're finally back. It's been a crazy long offseason. We had the Olympics. We had the draft, summer league, all that stuff. We are here. We are here with NBA basketball starting tomorrow. The Heat do not play tomorrow. They play on Wednesday. But opening night is tomorrow. I cannot wait. I am super excited, man. I cannot be more hyped. We are going against the Orlando Magic. I'm here to talk about this game. I'm here to preview it, give you guys everything you need to know. I have watched a lot of the Orlando Magic. I've watched a lot of teams in the NBA because, I try to watch as many games as I can, not just of the Heat, but a lot of games. So I have a quite good understanding of what each team is good at, what each team lacks. But if there are any Magic fans who are trying to correct me and who want to, give more information, that is completely fine. Make sure you do it in the comment section below. And yeah, if Heat fans, Magic fans, it does not matter. Give your score predictions. Give me your thoughts on the game. What do you guys think is going to happen? Let's get it cracking, man. So listen, the Orlando Magic surprised a lot of people. They were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They were, I believe, a top 5 defense, and that really propelled them to being a top 5 seed in the East. I mean, they were incredibly good in the regular season. Towards the end, they made a surge to get to the 5 seed, and they barely lost to the Cavs in Game 7. I mean, they were up in that game actually by quite a bit, and they kind of blew a lead towards the end in the second half. So disappointing way to end their season, but they did add some players in free agency and through the draft that I think are really going to help them. I love their addition of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I think that's going to be a very big upgrade over Gary Harris, who was the starting shooting guard for them last year. And I love their draft pick. I mean, Tristan da Silva, I've said it multiple times on this channel, on social media. I mean, Tristan da Silva is one of my favorite players in the draft, and the Magic ended up getting him. Reminds me actually a lot of Jaime Jaquez and his teammate Franz Wagner. So, yeah, I mean, I love what the Magic are doing. I think that they have a really good defensive team identity over there. I love their coach, Jamal Mosley. I think he's really underrated, man. I'm a huge fan of their coach. And they're going to be probably most likely starting Jalen Suggs, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, who I did not even mention, but he is the one. Paolo Banchero is one of the future faces of the NBA. He's absolutely phenomenal. I remember when I was doing draft content on my second channel, people were like, who should the Magic take? Chet, Paolo, Jabari. I was like, you got to take Paolo. Paolo's the best core in the draft, and he was the best shot creator, offensive player in the whole draft, and that's what you're getting out of Paolo Banchero, an absolute stud. And then Wendell Carter at their center. And then off the bench, they're going to probably be running a combination of a 3-guard lineup with Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, and Anthony Black. And then Jonathan Isaac for sure. And then Mo Wagner / Goga Bitadze at that backup 5 spot. I haven't watched too much of their preseason, so I'm not sure what their rotations have been looking like. But this is what I would assume based off of last year. Tristan da Silva might get minutes, but I don't think he's going to play too much. So I'm assuming this is going to be their rotation. So keys to the game. If you're the Miami Heat and if you're playing a team like Orlando, you have to be ready for Orlando to bring it defensively. The Heat are usually the team who tries to be the physical team and tries to, out-punk people. But the Magic are not going to fall for that because they themselves are a very physical team as well. They like to, be a physical, they're a very lengthy defensive unit. They love to cause disruption, and that's why they were a top 5 defense last year, and I think they will even be a top 5 defense this year as well. And it really starts with the guards. Jalen Suggs is one of the best defensive guards in all of basketball, and so is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Having those two as their backcourt defensively is absolutely huge for the Orlando Magic. Now, if you're the Heat, you have 2 good offensive players in Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. So on the bright side, even though our backcourt is kind of the opposite, where we are not as good defensively, but we are a good offensive backcourt, and we can be. I think that kind of works in our favor because although they'll have their struggles to score at times, the Heat, I feel like you won't have to worry about stopping guys like KCP and Jalen Suggs much, even though they are good players offensively. I think, you're really worried about the two wings over there if you're in Miami. But yeah, starting with the guards, I'm assuming you're going to have Jalen Suggs or Jalen Suggs is probably going to be on Tyler Hero. I'm assuming he's going to make his life very difficult because Tyler Hero usually struggles against guards who are going to be physical with him. And I think Orlando will stick Jalen Suggs on Hero and probably have KCP on Rozier just because, maybe, that's who the Heat have matched up on the other side. So maybe they just mirror those matchups. It's going to be imperative for the backcourt to have a good game because, we've seen in the preseason that Rozier and Hero have worked a little bit better than they have last year. So it looks like they're actually, figuring how to play with each other. They kind of know exactly what's going on and the strengths and weaknesses of each other. You're having Tyler kind of take more of an off the ball role, which I think actually suits his game a lot more, playing off the catch rather than, rather than playing on the ball. I think Rozier could definitely handle that responsibility. The thing about Orlando is that their perimeter defense is excellent. Even Franz Wagner is a really good defender. And then Paolo is no slouch. But the really big thing that I would say for Orlando, that if you can do this, you can basically not neutralize their defense, but you can make it really hard for them to stop you. And that is the paint. Even though Paolo Banchero is a really, really big power forward, he's like 6'10". Wendell Carter is an undersized center, and he's not a shot blocker or a rim protector by any means. If you can get down there in the paint, and I'm looking at Terry Rozier, I'm looking at Jimmy Butler, and I'm looking at Bam Adebayo, because these three players are the players who are probably going to have the most, chance to get to the paint. So if you can get to the paint, I don't think you're really worried about the help defense if you're Miami. I don't think Orlando's help defense is scaring me by any means. I think their on-the-ball defense is amazing, and it's one of the best in basketball, if not the best. But the help defense is where it's like you can probably get at them in this category. And that's where I'm looking at Bam Adebayo, because that matchup against Wendell Carter, I think, should be a favorable one for him. Wendell Carter is taking strides in this game for sure. He's a good young center, but Bam Adebayo is a top 5 center in this league, and he is trying to take steps to become one of the best players in basketball, if not already he is. We've seen what he's done offensively with the improvements to his 3-point shot, but we want Bam Adebayo to be aggressive downhill this game. You can take threes, Bam. I'm not saying don't take threes, but against a team that is lacking, a significant rim protector or shot blocker or a guy who's going to alter shots at the rim, Bam Adebayo should have a field day if he puts his head down and goes at Wendell Carter. That is the matchup I'm looking at if the Miami Heat want to exploit this Magic's defense. I think Jimmy Butler is going to try to do a lot of setting up this game. I don't think he's going to go full throttle. So, I think he's going to pick and choose his spots. It'll be tough for him because, he's also going to have to guard one of the two best players on their team. So I'm not really worried about what Jimmy's going to do, but I think Bam is the key. And even on the defensive end, if you flip that, I'm looking at Bam Adebayo to take the assignment to guard Paolo Banchero. I understand that, he is trying to shoulder responsibility offensively as well, but I think it's much more favorable if we have Nikola Jovic guarding Wendell Carter. They're basically the same height. Wendell Carter's probably a little bit stronger, but I feel like Nikola Jovic can do a good job boxing him out and not you don't really have to worry about Wendell Carter offensively if you're the Miami Heat's defense, and Paolo Banchero is their best player, and Bam Adebayo is to me the best defender in the world. So I think they match up pretty well. I would like to see Bam Adebayo take the assignment to guard Paolo Banchero, but maybe you have Nikola Jovic on Paolo Banchero and have Bam Adebayo as a help defender. That's fine. And if you want to have Bam Adebayo on the weak side because you want to protect him from foul trouble, that's okay as well. But I do want to see possessions where he is checking Paolo one-on-one. I think Jimmy and Franz will have to go head up. I think the thing about Franz, I'm a huge fan of his game. I think his shot is very, suspect, though. I think it could either be really good, it could be really bad. Last year, he struggled immensely in the playoffs, but he was pretty good in the Olympics. So, listen, we'll see. We'll see what Franz Wagner's shot looks like. But if I'm Jimmy Butler, I am playing him for him to take threes. I'm not giving him wide open threes, but I'm not trying to get him to the rim. That's where he's kind of at his best, where he's making decisions in the pick and roll and he's, doing a lot of driving and kicking. I'm not letting Franz Wagner do that if I'm Jimmy Butler. And then the two guards, offensively for the Magic, you really have to worry about KCP shooting, just his ability to spot up. And Terry Rozier, I would put on KCP. I mean, I think Tyler Hero can beat on Jalen Suggs. Just because Tyler Hero is a little bit, bigger than Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs plays bigger, but Tyler Hero is, I guess he's literally taller. So I think you can put Terry Rozier on KCP. You don't have to worry about KCP's on-ball threat. He's really just there to just space the floor. So you can have him chase around screens and stuff like that. And you can have Tyler play on the ball, or you can flip it around. That's fine. But yeah, that is really the key. The thing about Orlando offensively, I talked about how good their defense is, but their offense has really struggled to shoot the ball. And I feel like that's the reason they added KCP, because they just weren't a good three-point shooting team at all. So we're going to have to figure out a way to kind of exploit that. We need to make the Orlando Magic beat us by shooting threes. We cannot let them get going to the rim. Paolo Banchero is amazing when he's driving and putting his head down. Same with Franz Wagner, even Jalen Suggs. Wendell Carter is kind of a guy who can do a little bit of everything. He's even trying to expand his range and shoot a three-point shot. He takes about 1-3 a game. But I'm not too worried about Wendell Carter. And then KCP is really just there to shoot the three ball. And then last but not least, before we wrap this up, I want to talk about the two benches, the second units. I briefly touched on it, Orlando's second unit before, with their, three-guard lineup of Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, and Anthony Black. And then Jonathan Isaac, who is himself one of the best defenders in basketball when he's healthy. And then Mo Wagner, who's been a really good backup center last season. So even if they go with Goga Bitadze, he was also really good for them as well. So off the bench, I feel like Orlando's bench is pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. They have a pretty good second unit. I feel like Cole Anthony can definitely light you up if you let him. He's a really, really good scorer off the bench. He's a little bit hot and cold, and he's streaky for sure. But I think he's like the guy who's like, if you're worried about them scoring off the bench, it's really just all through him. Gary Harris, Anthony Black, Jonathan Isaac, like these guys are all incredible defenders, but as far as scoring the basketball is concerned, the one player on their bench that you have to really look at is Cole Anthony, because he is capable of taking over a game if you let him. So I will say Cole Anthony is that one guy where it's like, if I'm the Miami Heat, I'm putting Jaime Jaquez, I'm putting Haywood Highsmith, I'm putting one of those two on Cole Anthony. I think Jaime should get the assignment. I think Haywood should probably guard, one of the front court players. Since they try to usually run three guards off their bench, I don't think we're going to struggle much if we put Alec Burks, or if Drew Smith plays, if we put Drew Smith on Gary Harris, we won't struggle, I don't think, even though he's undersized. If we put Duncan Robinson on Anthony Black, I think we'll be fine. But Jaime Jaquez or Haywood Highsmith should get the Cole Anthony assignment. And then Jonathan Isaac, the other one should probably get Jonathan Isaac. So those two, because Jonathan Isaac, they do some work with him in the pick and roll. He's trying to become more of an offensive hub for them. And then the backup center spot, Mo Wagner can definitely outwork Kevin Love if Kevin Love doesn't bring it, or outwork Thomas Bryant. Thomas Bryant usually brings hustle. Problem with Thomas Bryant is that he doesn't have the IQ on the court at all to match that hustle, unfortunately. Kevin Love is kind of the opposite, where he has incredible basketball IQ, but just doesn't have like the physical attributes anymore at this age to keep up with a lot of centers. So yeah, those two are kind of polar opposites if you're the Heat. It's really just about who's playing better on the day. I can see Spo playing both of them. I'm not sure how he's going to work that backup center spot. I know a lot of people want Kel'el Ware. I think we got to temper our expectations for Kel'el Ware. I think he's going to be an incredible player, and I think he's going to be an absolute stud for the Miami Heat come long term down the line. But right now, I just feel like he has some stuff that he needs to work on. I feel like he's very raw on offensively and defensively. I feel like you can see talent, you can see flashes, but I think with Kel'el Ware, there are times where it's like, it's this young Whiteside where it's like, no pun intended. I know that was Whiteside's handle, but is this a young version of Whiteside where he's jumping at everything? He's looking a little bit lost, but he's trying to make up for it with his blocks and stuff like that. But his team defense is not being great. He's kind of out of position. Or, like, can this guy actually, I guess, rectify those mistakes? Because offensively, he's way more talented than Hassan. Way more. He can shoot the ball. He has really good touch around the rim. He's not just a lob threat. But defensively, Spo always loves a good team defender. And Kel'el Ware has just not shown that he's ready to do that right now, which is completely fine, which is completely okay. Like, if you're the Miami Heat, there's no rush. I mean, he's going to be on your team for years to come. So that's why I don't understand people who are like, we need to play him right now, throw him into the fire. There are lottery picks and players who went much higher than Kel'el Ware in drafts who have not played NBA minutes in their first season. I mean, literally, Jarris Walker was the 7th overall pick, and how many minutes did he play last season? None. So it's like, we got to be patient. Kel'el Ware is going to be a really good player. I'm really just looking for him to develop in Sioux Falls. I'm not really worried about him playing on the NBA court right now. Like I said, I think he's super talented, but because he has so many, I guess, skills, he's going to have to refine all of those things. It's like, for a guy like Pelle Larsson, he's really just here to catch and shoot, play defense, and just be like a plug-in player. Kel'el Ware is a guy who can do so much more than that. So when I say Pelle Larsson is ready and Kel'el Ware is not, it's not a knock to Kel'el Ware. What I'm trying to say is that Kel'el Ware has so much more to his game than just being like an energy big or just being like, a lob threat or just being a stretch five. Like, he can do all of those things, which is why we took him that high, because he's capable of doing so many things on the court. But he's going to have to figure out how to refine all those skills, which is why this year should be a developmental year for him. I'm not really too worried about if he plays or not. I think we have 2 backup centers who should be adequate. I mean, I know Thomas Bryant comes with his, I guess, like, what are you doing moments, and then Kevin Love sometimes can get blown by, but I feel like the thing is that those 2 centers complement each other. Kevin Love, a lot of the things he can't do, Thomas Bryant can do, and then vice versa. Kevin Love can shoot the ball, Thomas Bryant cannot shoot the ball. Thomas Bryant is a really good rebounder. Kevin Love, not so much anymore. Kevin Love provides high IQ. Thomas Bryant, not really. Thomas Bryant has a really good motor. Kevin Love, again, this part of his career does not. So, it's like we have centers off the bench who will complement each other. And if, depending on the matchup, I think that's how Spo should go. If we need, some toughness, if we need some motor, if we need some energy, I would go Thomas Bryant. If we need to just shoot the ball a little bit, if we need some IQ, I would go Kevin Love. So that's my 2 cents on the whole matchup. I just wanted to give that Kel'el Ware nugget out. I don't know, because I know a lot of people have been like, where's Kel'el Ware? Why isn't he playing? Why is Spo not playing him? Trust the best coach in the NBA. He knows what he's doing. And even I have to tell myself that, because I get mad at him whenever he plays like Drew Smith. But Drew Smith actually played pretty well in the preseason. So, shoot, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, those are my 2 cents of this matchup between the Heat and the Magic. I'm super excited though, because it's Miami Heat basketball. We're back. I was just watching the video on YouTube that the NBA posted, where it was like best Heat endings of all time, and it was like, bro, I'm so excited. Like, it just got me hyped, because I'm like, I cannot wait for the season to start. You guys let me know in the comment section below, man. Magic fans, Heat fans, what are you guys' thoughts on this game? It's obviously like an in-state rivalry, so but I do want all teams from Florida to do well. So the Magic, the Heat, this season, I'm wishing both those teams luck. Obviously, it's go Heat over here, but still pulling for the Magic a little bit whenever they're not playing us. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, man. Make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts. I'll see y'all later as always, man. Let's go Heat. Peace.